Good afternoon. This is Akanksha Shukla, Assistant Professor from IT Department. In the previous lecture, I had already discussed about the data, information and knowledge and what are the different sources, how can we collect the data. Now in the current or in this lecture, I am going to discuss about the classification of data. How can we classify data into the various forms? There are there are three types through which we can classify the data. The first one is structured data, second one is semi-structured and the third one is unstructured data. Now, what are the structured data? The data whose elements are addressable for effective analysis are going to be considered as a structured analysis. Means the data which is organized in a proper manner or which has typically a database can be considered as structured data. In structured data, it contains or it concerns all the data which can be stored in the database, just like SQL in a table with the rows and columns. And also these kind of data have the relational keys and it can easily be mapped into the pre-designed fields. So today these data are most processed in the development and the simplest way to manage the information. The example of structured data is a relational data. Second type of data is semi-structured data. In this kind of data is a information which cannot or which doesn't reside in a relational database. But this kind of data has some organizational properties that make it easier to analyze. With some processes, we can store them in the relational databases, but it could be very hard for some kind of semi-structured data. So, the semi-structured data exists to ease the space, just like the example is XML data. So, we can say that XML data can be considered as a semi-structured data. Now, the third one is unstructured data. This kind of data can be considered as a data which is not organized in a predefined manner or it also doesn't have a predefined data model. So, this is not a good fit for a mainstream relational databases. And that's why the unstructured data, there are alternative platforms for storing and managing which are going to be prevalent in the IT systems and it can be used by the organizations in the variety of business intelligence and also in the analytics applications. The examples of unstructured data are Word, PDF, text fields, media logs, many more. Now here we can see that the difference between structured, semi-structured and unstructured data on the basis of different properties. So, the first property is technology. On the behalf of technology, when we are going to differentiate the structured, semi-structured and unstructured data. So, on the basis of technology, what we see that in structured data, it is based on the relational database table. Now, in the semi-structured data, it is based on the XML description framework, or we can say that it is based on the XML and RDF, resource description framework. Means here I am going to tell about the technology on which these type of data are based on. And the unstructured data is based on character and binary data only. Second property is transaction management. So in structured data, the mature transaction and various concurrency techniques are used. Whereas in semi-structured data, transaction is adapted from the DBMS, not matured. And in unstructured data, no transaction management and no concurrency is performed. The third property is the version management. Here in structured data, the versioning over the tuples and rows or tables can be performed. And in semi-structured data, version over the tuples or the graph is possible only. And in unstructured data, the whole document can be versioned. Next property is flexibility. In structured data, it is schema dependent. So, that's why the flexibility of structured data is less. And in semi-structured data, it is flexible more than structured data but less than unstructured data, because in this semi-structured data, the data is organized in the form of XML data formats. In unstructured data, there is not any organized data, there is no any proper manner in which data is organized. So, the unstructured data is more flexible because there is absence of schemas in that type of data. Next one is scalability. So, for structured data, it is very difficult to scale database schemas. And in semi-structured data, scaling is simpler than the structured data, but not more than unstructured data. And the unstructured data is more scalable than in comparison with these two. Now the third one is robustness. Structured data is very robust and semi-structured data is not very much, it is a new technology, so that's why not very much spreaded. And for unstructured data, robustness is nil. Or we can say that and not any comment can be given to regarding robustness for unstructured data. The last one is query performance. So the structured query allow the complex joining in structured data, and in semi-structured data, queries over anonymous nodes are possible, and in unstructured data, we can perform the queries related to textual queries are only possible in unstructured data, because the examples of unstructured data are PDF files, Word files, textual files. That's why. Now I am going to discuss about one more important topic, that is big data. So the big data is a field which contains or which is going to analyze and extract the information from extremely voluminous or we can say that a large amount of data sets. And the term big data is also refers to the large quantities of data which are going to exponentially growing with the time. So such kind of data is so humongous and complex that no conventional methods or traditional data management tools can be able to process and store it effectively. Now there are many examples of big data, from social media platforms to e-commerce stores, and also organizations in various industries which can generate and utilize the data to enhance their processes. Big data includes the multiple processes including data mining, data analysis, data storage and data visualization. So in a short we can say that the term big data refers to collecting these processes and all the tools which we use during the same process. Just like a simple data, we can also classify the big data into three types: structured, unstructured and semi-structured, which I had already discussed. Now the next topic is characteristics of big data. Here we are going to discuss this primary characteristics of big data. The first one is volume. Generally, volume refers to the amount of data which we are going to have, and the volume of our data we can measure in gigabytes, terabytes and zettabytes, yottabytes. And according to the current industry trend, the volume of data will rise exponentially in the coming years. So, in a simple way, volume refers to the volume of data which we are going to have. Second property or second characteristics of big data is velocity. Velocity refers to the spread of data processing, means if the velocity is high, then the performance of any big data process is crucial. So, it consists of the rate of change in a data, or you can say that activity burst, and the linking of incoming data sets, how the incoming data sets can be linked to the current or which we are having a data right now. So, how that current data can be linked to the incoming data sets. So, velocity generally refers to the spread of data processing. Next one is value, which refers to the benefits that your organization derives from that particular data sets which we are going to analyze. If value also identifies that the value of data which we are having, does it match your organizational goals? Does it help your organization in enhancing itself? And also it's among the most important big data core characteristics. Just like means here I am discussing about the characteristic value, which is the most important core characteristic of big data, because the organizational goals rely over it, and it also helps in enhancing the organization itself. That's why this characteristic is considering as a most important characteristic. Next one is veracity. Basically this term veracity refers to the accuracy of your data, means whatever the data you are going to analyze after collection or after cleaning that particular data, then what is the accuracy of that data, that the data which you have collected is accurate or not. So, it is also one of the most important or one of the most vital characteristic of big data, because if your data has low veracity, then it can damage the accuracy of your result. Means if the accuracy of your data is low, is having a low veracity, then it can have directly impact on the accuracy of your results. Next one is validity. Validity is one of the characteristics which emphasize or which can predict how valid and relevant your data is, which we are going to use for the target audience or for the particular intended purpose. Means if you are going to use that particular data for a particular purpose of the organization, then how much valid and relevant that data is. It can be defined by the validity characteristic. Next one is volatility. Basically, the big data is constantly changing. So, the data you gather from a source, from the different sources, which I had already told that there are different sources through which we can collect the data. So, the data you gathered from a source a day ago might be different from what you found today. So, this veracity or this constantly changing data can also have an impact in our result. So, this property or this variability of data can also affect your data homogenization. Means the data which we collected a day earlier can be different from what we found today. So, we have to minimize this kind of constantly changing things in our particular data. The last characteristic is visualization. Basically, this characteristics refers to showing your big data generated insights through visual representations. Means whatever you analyze your data, then after that you can visualize your data with the use of charts and graphs. And also it has this characteristic has become prevalent constantly or recently, as big data professionals regularly share their insights with non-technical audiences. Means whatever the data which we are going to communicate further, so it might be possible that after data analysis I am going to communicate the data with the non-technical audience. So for that non-technical audiences, we are going to use or we are going to prepare some visual representations with the use of chart and graphs. So, for non-technical audience, these charts and graphs are much more easier to understand in comparison with the analytical technical tools, or in the form of tabular formats through which we can analyze the data. So, that analysis can be tougher for non-technical audience to understand. So, these visual representations can be helpful for non-technical audiences also, because these can have a special impact on that. So, these all are the 8 characteristics of the big data. Now, I am going to discuss about the main components of big data. The first component is ingestion. Ingestion is a process which can be used for gathering and preparing the data. We had used the ETL process. ETL means extract, transform and load process, but through which we can prepare your data. It is a process which we use to prepare your data. In this phase, what we do, we have to identify your data sources, from where you have collected the data, from which source you have identified that. Means here you have to identify your data source, means from where you have collected that data. The next one is determine whether you will gather the data in batches or stream. And the last one is you have to prepare it through the cleansing, massaging and organization. Okay. So, you perform the extract process in gathering the data and then transformation process in optimizing it. Means in the injection, what we do, we have included 3 processes in this injection component, that we have to extract the data, then transform it and then load that data for particular processing. Okay. The next one is storage. Once you have gathered the necessary data, then what we have to do? We have to need to store it for further processing or for future use. So, hence here we will perform the final step of the ETL, extract, transform and load. The final process is load process. So, in storage, we are going to store your data in the data warehouse. Basically, a data warehouse is a kind of storage where a large amount of data can be stored. Okay. So, depending on your requirements, whatever your requirement is, then in the load process, we will store your data in a data warehouse, or we can say also a data lake, depending on your requirements. So, that's why this is crucial to understand that what are the organizational goals while performing any big data process. Means when we are going to process any big data, then to understand your organizational goal is a very critical process. Next one is analysis. In this phase of a big data process, we are going to analyze the data so that we can generate a valuable insights for your organization, or we can say that we can analyze the data to generate the outcomes which can basically or which can directly benefit the target audience. So there are 4 kinds of big data analytics. First one is prescriptive, second one is predictive, the third one is descriptive, and the fourth one is diagnostic. Here we are going to use the artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithms in this phase to analyze the data. Means we are going to perform the data analysis with the use of AI and machine learning algorithms. The last one is consumption, which is the final phase of the big data process. Once you have analyzed the data and you have found the insights, or we have found the visual representations, then what you have to do, you have to share them with the others. So here we have to utilize the data visualization methods and data storytelling to share your insights effectively. Similarly, here also in this phase, what we do, we use the visualizations schemes or visualizations format, just like graph, bar charts, pie charts, to get the data or to get that particular data analysis get easier to understand for the non-technical audiences, just like stakeholders and project managers. So for that, what we have to do, we have to analyze the data and we have to find the insights with the use of data visualizations, and also we can use these data visualizations techniques just like a data storytelling, by which we can share our insights effectively. So these are the main components of big data. That's all for today. Thank you.